Invite viewers to post their location and local time. The rancher would appreciate knowing who's listening out there in the dark or in the middle of breakfast. Now picture this. He wakes on a Saturday morning to see not one or two, but a parade of cars lined along his private road. At first it looks like a lost wedding caravan, but by Sunday there are 20. Strollers, dogs, coolers, the whole suburban camping circus rolling across land he's cared for with his own hands. He built the barn, hung the no trespassing sign, and knows every stone in the driveway. Yet here were strangers unloading like it was Yellowstone's overflow lot. He confronts them, hat still on from chores, only to hear the words that chill him. The HOA said this is the new community overflow lot. They point toward the ridge, acting like he's the guest on his own ranch. He pulls up the HOA website, and there it is, his driveway, his barn splashed in a cheerful flyer with a QR code pinning his land as expanded parking. A historian might argue whether feudal lords ever had such boldness, but Karen Silva and her clipboard are giving them stiff competition. At the HOA office, he meets Karen herself. Tight bun, tighter smile. She explains with a lawyerly tone that his lot qualifies as a de facto easement community access through implied consent. He stares as if she sprouted horns. Implied consent. Because he didn't wall off 28 acres with concertina wire. She tells him it's about community, not technicalities. Community he thinks that looks a lot like conquest. Back at the ranch, kids run through his irrigation ditch, an SUV blocks his barn door, and one boy relieves himself behind the hay trailer. He clenches his fists. This isn't over. By Monday, he's at the sheriff's office with photos, videos, license plates. Deputy Reed listens, leans on his cruiser, and calls it a mess. Not trespassing, maybe civil. Reed even floats the idea that the HOA has a shared use agreement. The rancher nearly chokes. There is no agreement, no signature, no lease. It's like being told your neighbor can borrow your car because they've always liked the color. And when he pushes back, the HOA doubles down, planting a laminated sign right into his pasture, overflow parking community use only. He records himself, dust swirling around his boots, muttering, "You want to fight, let's make it public." He heads to the county recorder's office and finds the kicker, a forged right-of-use agreement filed with his signature, except it's not his. Not even close. Someone scribbled a phantom Garrett Blake to lock his land into HOA control for 3 years. Historians still argue whether medieval forgeries or suburban HOA filings cause more misery. He knows his answer. He's been annexed without a war conquered with paperwork, and the battle for his ranch has just begun. The discovery of that forged signature flips a switch inside him. He's no longer just angry, he's strategic. Years back, he worked in zoning. He knows the tricks, one misplaced signature, and suddenly your living room is rezoned as a laundromat. So he does what few homeowners ever think to do. He digs hard. Cameras go up every plate and footprint, recorded every trespass, logged with timestamps sharp enough to slice through any excuse. Then he calls the news. Local journalist Lindsay Morris comes out microphone in hand, filming while families unload bikes 20 feet behind her. On air, a mother cheerfully insists, "Karen told us it was fine. This is the overflow lot." The anchor's eyebrow nearly flies off her forehead when the footage airs. Suddenly, emails pour in, other landowners, other accidents. Seems Westridge Peaks has been playing this game before, sliding in little filings, claiming easements that no one ever agreed to. A pattern emerges, the kind historians still argue whether to call mission creep or plain fraud. And then things turn darker. His animals begin spooking at night, terrified of shadows that aren't there. Reviewing footage, he hears it a low hum, almost subsonic. He investigates and finds the culprit's gray ultrasonic devices hidden in brush angled at his pasture. Airport-style bird deterrents weaponized against livestock. He bags them as evidence, calls Deputy Reed again, and this time even Reed admits it may qualify as harassment under agricultural interference laws. But the HOA isn't done. During a youth riding session, a horse named Molly stumbles on buried car debris left by careless parkers. A 14-year-old girl breaks her collarbone. Her mother, an attorney, files suit not against him but directly against the HOA. Cameras capture the evidence, and suddenly the story isn't just about parking anymore. It's about danger, children, and negligence. Then comes cruelty at its most personal. One morning he finds a frail foal tied to his gate, shaking abandon with a spiteful note. "Take care of your own animals, jerk." He names the foal Scout and vows this fight isn't just about property lines, now it's about dignity. He builds his war chest, civil complaints for trespass, criminal charges for forgery, affidavits from handwriting analysts, and endless media pressure. Lindsay's second segment airs forged signatures, fake parking, the HOA land grab exposed, public fury explodes. That's when a nervous man shows up at the ranch, Thomas Chavez, former HOA treasurer. He hands over a flash drive, whispers Karen forged budget notes. "The grant is based on your property, but there was never any agreement." The flash drive is a goldmine: emails, meeting minutes, Photoshop edits of his fake signature. His lawyer, Deirdre Malloy, practically growls with delight. Within a week, the injunction is granted. A cease-use notice is nailed to the HOA's office door. Every car that dares cross his fence now risks a $10,000 fine. But Karen doesn't quit. She smears him in the press, paints him as unstable trauma background and all. That's when Deirdre rolls out the heavy artillery, a civil suit for fraud, defamation, and forced inclusion into an HOA he never joined. She adds punitive damages and conspiracy. The legal train is roaring down the tracks, and Karen's tidy bun is about to be caught in the gears. The dominoes fall faster than even he expected. The state auditor opens an investigation into grant fraud, tracing $85,000 in funds right back to Karen Silva and her cousin's shell company. Instead of trail improvements, the money bought a Jeep, a few laminated signs, and those ultrasonic gadgets he'd already yanked out of the dirt. That's not community development, that's petty larceny dressed in business casual. Within days, Karen is led out of her office in handcuffs, still wearing her little HOA badge. Photos splash across the news clipboard: queen turned defendant. Residents gape, phones raised. Charges pile on: forgery, trespass by fraud, misappropriation of state funds, conspiracy. And it doesn't stop with her. Every board member who signed off on the fake easement is pulled into investigation. Historians still argue whether empires fall from outside invasion or inside corruption, but here it's clearly the latter. The community, once indifferent, now revolts. Meetings devolve into shouting. A mild-mannered librarian named Paul delivers the line of the season: "I didn't sign up to pay for fraud. I just wanted my recycling picked up." Lawsuits multiply until the HOA collapses under the weight. Bankruptcy follows their grand two-story office up for auction. He bids. Nobody else dares. For $10,000, he owns the fortress of laminated tyranny. First act: tear down the polished HOA sign. In its place, a plaque. "Here they tried to steal my land. Now it's part of my land." He transforms the building into a community learning space, the landowner's liberation room. Workshops on zoning literacy. Scout has a corner pen. Kids pet him. Parents learn what an easement really means. Beth, the injured rider, visits with cupcakes and a drawing of Karen behind bars. He frames it. Back home, peace seeps slowly back into the soil. The tire ruts fade, the animals relax, and Scout grows stronger by the day. He knows it wasn't about revenge, it was about accountability. About proving that one man standing firm can topple an empire built on paperwork and arrogance. One evening, Paul drives up offering a pie from the reformed neighbor group now called the West Ridge Neighbors, just potlucks and tool sharing. They laugh, eat cherry pie, and talk about sanity, returning to the valley. As Paul drives off, his bumper sticker flashes, "Not today, Karen." The rancher laughs long, the kind of laugh that empties the lungs of anger. He heads inside Scout, nickering at the fence, and for the first time in months, he feels the land is truly his again. And now the story slows. The rush of courtroom battles, flashing cameras, and the rattle of handcuffs drifts into memory. What remains is quieter, simpler. The evening wind curling through the pasture, the sound of hooves steady on soft dirt. A man leaning on the fence he once feared would be erased by a forged signature. Think of the contrast. Not long ago, headlights swept across his fields. Strangers trampled irrigation lines, and the word community was twisted into a weapon. Tonight the stars appear over a barn at rest. The only light is a lantern hanging low, swinging slightly gold against the deep blue dusk. Scout breathes warm air into his palm, no longer trembling. The grass has returned where tires once scarred the earth. Even the birds seem louder, as if claiming the silence the machines once disturbed. There's no need to hurry now, no need to prove a point. The lesson has already been etched into county records, into newsprint, and perhaps most importantly, into neighbors' hearts. What is stronger than paperwork? Stronger than laminated signs, stronger even than money spent badly. The simple resolve of one person who refuses to be erased. He didn't want to fight, but when the fight came, he held the line. And in holding it, he gave others permission to hold theirs. So let the night settle in. Let the story fade into the quiet of a ranch at peace. Imagine the last sound before sleep, not shouting, not engines, not the hum of hidden devices. Just a foal named Scout, breathing evenly, in the dark safe, at last. Close your eyes. The land is still. The struggle is behind you. Rest easy.